Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with a look at what has been happening in the news in Spain over the last few days or so. We'll look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press, as I normally do. So let's get stuck into the news. And the Spanish government has said that they are going to extend the anti-crisis measures. And as we can see here, the government is preparing a partial 6-month extension of the measures against the energy crisis. The government is preparing a partial extension of the social shield designed to combat the consequences of inflation, the energy crisis, and the war in Ukraine. This package expires on the 31st of December and includes tax cuts on energy, transport, and sectoral aid. The extension will be approved practically at the stroke of a pen in the Council of Ministers that will take place this Wednesday, the 27th. The coalition government is still negotiating which of these measures and to what extent they will be incorporated into the Royal Decree law, whose duration should be extended until June, following the logic of previous decrees. In principle, some form of the transport season ticket subsidies and at least part of the energy tax cuts that have the greatest impact on prices are expected to be maintained. So some good news for people that are doing it tough at the moment. The government announcing that it will extend the social shield, as they call it in Spain, possibly until the end of June, so more or less another 6 months. And I will say that some of the subsidies that we have had in Spain over the last 12 months or so have come in very handy, especially when it comes to cheaper public transport costs, and most importantly, a reduction on energy costs, which have been sky high over the last 18 months or so in Spain. So as I said, some good news there. Now, Spain's King Felipe VI was on television the other night giving his annual Christmas speech. What did he say? Well, as we can see here, he called in his speech to prevent the seed of discord from returning among Spaniards. The Constitution, which he mentioned 12 times, more than once a minute, and the unity of Spain, which he has taken for granted in the face of those who predict its rupture. These were the issues to which the King devoted his 10th Christmas message on Sunday night, almost monographically since he came to the throne. He could have addressed many other issues, as he himself acknowledged at the beginning of his speech, but aware that this is his most followed speech, 6.7 million viewers last year, and a unique opportunity to enter the homes of Spanish families without intermediaries, he preferred to focus on two issues that he considers particularly serious, judging by his tone and his words. So there we go, the King's speech the other night, all about the Constitution this year, because as we know, the Constitution is in trouble in Spain, especially with those Catalonian separatists and people like Mr. Puigdemont and company. And it's all about the unity of Spain, the Spain that we currently know, and not the Spain that the Catalonian independence politicians or the Basque independence politicians would like Spain to become. However, it wasn't all good news for the Spanish King, because viewership of his speech was way down on last year's figures. And as we can read here, the King's message loses more than 600,000 viewers compared to that of 2022, and is the second least watched message of the monarch. Just over 6 million people watched King Felipe VI's message on Christmas Eve. 673,000 fewer than the message in 2022, when it was watched by 6.7 million viewers, mainly due to the drop in television consumption on Christmas Eve, which has fallen by around 1 million viewers compared to last year. Total TV consumption was 9.4 million, down nearly 1 million, 9% less, compared to 2022, when 10.4 million viewers were recorded. King Felipe VI 10th Christmas message registered an average audience of 6,044,000 viewers and a 64.1 screen share in the total of the 30 channels that broadcast the speech live, according to data from Barlovento Communication. So some 673,000 fewer viewers watching the King's speech this year compared to 2022, and according to El Mundo, it's because not as many people are watching television anymore. People have other ways of entertainment, as we know. But as with everything in Spain, the King's speech was very politicized. Right-wing parties like the Partido Popular and Vox in favor of what the King said, but left-wing parties, for example Sumar, not in favor of what the King said. And again, this highlights the different views that some people have of what Spain should be. Should it be a constitutional monarchy, as it currently is, or should it be a republic? Let me know what you think in that comment section below. Another piece of news that has caught my attention related to illegal immigration and the exploitation of migrants in Spain. And as we can read here, a network exploiting irregular migrants from Nepal to work in Indian restaurants has been busted. The illicit route that takes a human being from Nepal to an Indian restaurant in Madrid or Las Palmas costs 15,000 euros. That is what a Nepalese family charged their compatriots to bring them illegally to Spain, where they ended up cooking or serving food from the Indian subcontinent. The National Police has dismantled the Spanish branch of this network, which is known to have smuggled 83 Nepalese migrants, although it is estimated that the gang has trafficked 300 Nepalese human beings who were transported through India, Thailand and Russia to end up entering European territory through the borders of Poland, Romania and Malta. The scheme fraudulently obtained Type D visas, which authorise people to reside, study or work in the Schengen area for a period of more than 90 days. 9 people have been arrested in Spain. So there we go, an illegal people trafficking network, a Nepalese people trafficking network busted in Spain, and always good to see people from the same country exploiting each other when it comes to illegal immigration. And in this case, a family from Nepal charging 15,000 euros to bring fellow Nepalese to Spain and exploit them in Indian restaurants. And let's be honest, I don't know what would be worse, the trip over or having to work in one of those kitchens. And the final piece of news we'll look at today related to Spain's climate issues, specifically drought. And as we can see here, drought in Spain is one of the top 10 costliest weather disasters of the year in the world. The climate crisis does not come free for anyone. The extreme phenomena caused by global warming have an economic impact where they strike, and the drought that has hit and still hitting Spain is one of the 10 most costly disasters of the year in the world in 2023, according to Christian Aid's annual analysis. The list is topped by the August wildfires in Hawaii, costing some 3,700 euros per person, and the torrential storms in Guam and Vanuatu at 1,300 and 800 euros each, as well as the tropical storm in New Zealand. The floods in Italy last May are the 6th disaster. Ahead of the Spanish drought, the organisation ranks the floods in Libya and Peru. So Spain's drought disaster in 2022, very costly indeed. And unfortunately, I believe the situation is not getting any better as far as those droughts are concerned. Now, let's take a look at some of the comments that have been left on videos recently. One here from Blu-ray. I feel sorry for older people, many of whom struggle with cell phones if they cannot use cash. Anyway, all this cashless nonsense is like electric vehicles. Never gonna happen. Cash is king, baby. Happy Christmas, everyone, from Alicante, Spain. Yeah, Blu-ray, thanks for the comment and fairly clear what your opinion is when it comes to these two controversial topics, cashless societies and the use of electric cars. Never gonna happen. Cash is king, baby. And to be honest, I don't think the end of cash is just around the corner. I think it's going to take a while if we ever get there at all, because let's remember, cash is still legal tender, but from what I've seen here, and I mentioned this in a video the other day, very, very difficult to use. A lot of businesses don't like to take cash. I asked one guy yesterday why that was the case, and he said it's because banks charge you to put cash in them nowadays. So it's just easier for businesses nowadays, according to this guy, to take the old tap and go. And we all know who makes even more money through electronic transactions. Yes, that's right, you guessed it, it's the banks. And here in Australia, the 4 big banks are very powerful indeed, and they're going to get even more powerful as we progress. More powerful and greedier by screwing over the average punter and small business. One here from user, not everyone has a bank account. It's not just old people who use cash. I could pay by card, but more often than not, I use cash in support to those who cannot use a card. Any cards only shop would not get my business. Wait till the internet goes up the spout, one day it will. Yeah, user, thanks for the comment, and we have seen in recent times in Spain and also here in Australia that when the internet goes down, it's very difficult to accept these payments. No internet, no tap and go for the customers, and for businesses, they can't use their electronic points of sale. So maybe it's a good idea to still keep a few euros, pounds or dollars in your back pocket. What do you think? One here from Andrew. Great to see you broadcasting from your home turf, Stuart. I've not been to Australia yet, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your out and about videos. In the meantime, enjoy a well-deserved vacation with your family and a very Merry Christmas to you all. Yeah, Andrew, thanks for the comment, and I hope that you guys had a fantastic Christmas too. And yes, I am here on my former home turf, Perth, Australia, and I'll be going up and down the coast over the next few days and checking out what's going on. I will be recording some videos. I can't guarantee how many videos I will record, but I'll try and get some under my belt, because this part of the world at this time of the year is absolutely stunning. One here from Cornish. I lived in Australia during the 1980s and 90s, mainly in Melbourne, but with a shorter time in WA. I thought it was wonderful for the most part. I'm still in touch with plenty of people there. I'm surprised at how many friends who were pretty switched on are quite accepting and supportive of what I consider to be an increasingly authoritarian society. I'm also pretty annoyed that I'm not entitled to a pension despite the amount of time I lived there. Yeah, Cornish, thanks for the comment, and I'll address the last part of it here when it comes to pensions down here in Australia. Not sure how long you worked here for, whether or not you contributed into your own pension fund, which is what people do here. The superannuation fund is what it's called. Not sure if you put into that or not, but if you did, I think you should be entitled to something, but don't quote me on that. Because basically, as I said, it's a self-funded retirement scheme. And I think it was up and running back in the 1990s, but again, don't quote me on that. And the other thing that you mentioned here in your comment, your surprise at how many of your switched on friends, as you put it, are accepting and supportive of an increasingly authoritarian society. Again, your words, not mine. Well, I think you're on the mark there as well, because a lot of people are willing to put their faith in government and big companies, and we can see that every day. So you know what you got to do, right? Keep your money under your mattress. One here from Turbo. I have lived in Australia and New Zealand for a while and eventually decided to leave. Everything is too bloody expensive for the average quality you get, especially housing. In Auckland, you can literally buy a non-insulated shed for $1 million. Australia is a pretty boring country as well at the end of the day. Just been to Spain. I liked it as a French guy. Yeah, Turbo, thanks for the comment, and maybe you're right. Australia could be perceived as a boring country, as you put it, but I'll tell you what, people are breaking down the doors trying to get in because it's a hell of a lot better than where they come from. Is it expensive? Yes. Are housing prices expensive? Yes. But it still doesn't stop people knocking down that door, as I said, trying to get in and trying to get a part of what they consider to be the Australian dream. One here from Eamon. The social conservatism and casual racism in Spain was grating after a while. Fine for holidays, but that's enough. Life's too short to live around people for that for too long. Yeah, Eamon, thanks for the comment, and I will agree with you when it comes to that social conservatism aspect that you mentioned here. A lot of Spaniards do seem to be socially conservative. Don't know why really, but I guess they like things the way they are, and they don't like a lot of change. And when it comes to casual racism, I also agree. I've heard a lot of racist comments over the years in Spain, especially when it comes to people from Morocco, Spanish people talking about people from Morocco, South America, people coming in from the east of Europe as well. They throw around a lot of racist comments. They don't think they're racist, but they are, in fact, racist words. But again, that's just my opinion. And the final comment here from Keith. Who's looking after the dog, Stu? Yeah, Keith, thanks for the comment. The good news is that the dog is currently in Madrid with my mother-in-law. She's experiencing Madrid life, apartment life, not like where I live, in a house with a garden. Unfortunately, she doesn't have that privilege anymore for the next few weeks at least. So she's in good hands with my mother-in-law. So that's where Mia is while we are here. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. If you have an opinion on any of the subjects that I have spoken about today, the comment section is the place for you, and I would love to hear your comment. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you on the next one. Hasta luego from Perth.